Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Copperport. So, now the mind-numbing heat of August is finally out of the way and I can actually open my laptop without the risk of melting my face off, I guess it's time we take another little peek at what's been going on in our little titular town. Before we get back to our ill-fated band on Coltman Lane, first we're going to take a little trip across town to Newgate Street with the first instalment of Copperport Untold. Now, for those that you remember Dave from my earlier games and videos, the two of us have been working together to create what will hopefully turn into a full anthology of Copperport audiobooks. And fun fact, the first one is up on the channel and ready to go right now. So how about a little taster? He felt Stanley's cold, clammy hand grip him by the back of the neck and haul him to his feet. No more words were required. There were no other options left. As his feet mechanically delivered him across the pub to the toilet door, he reached into his coat, his fingers curling around the handle of the kitchen knife that he didn't know was there, yet still he had somehow expected to be. If you want to hear the rest for yourself, the link is in the description. Don't forget to subscribe for future episodes, and a big thank you to Dave for lending us his writing talents. So, with that out of the way, time to head back across town and see what's happening with the Shore Cats. Now, as I am getting painfully close to finishing this one, we're going to have to be really careful about stumbling into spoiler territory. So instead of the usual linear flow of the previous videos, we're going to have to jump back and forth with a little bit here, a little bit there, so on and so forth. So, let's do this thing. So first off the bat, I've got a bunch of character model work done. We have two new characters in the mix for our hero to encounter in the form of Ben and Carl Gordon. Everything's been done with these guys, all the way from their initial artwork, 3D modelling, all the way through to installation and gameplay. The existing character Hayley has also been completely rebuilt. Now I did this for a bunch of reasons. First off, to keep her in line with her character art and just give her an appearance that was more fitting of her personality type. But primarily, it was to fix a bunch of texture memory bugs the old character had, which was just causing the game to crash. So now that's out of the way, we're all good. On the note of bugs, a bunch of days this month has been dedicated to optimising the whole thing. I've stripped down the memory pressure, cleaned up the code and textures, and just made everything that bit more efficient. So that's drastically improved the frame rate and got rid of a bunch more other crashes, so everything's running so much smoother now. But anyway, all the technical jibber jabber aside, the actual content and gameplay's coming along nicely too. We've got, say roughly a solid 70% of all the evidence items in place, ready to flesh out the story and give us some idea of what's happening inside the house. And for obvious reasons I can't go into too much detail about some of them, like this one, and this one. But we can probably get away with a peek at something a little less innocuous, so something like this brochure. Here we go. Museum Brochure. Experience the legend of Copperport's Pirate Witch. Scourge of the Bristol Channel for over a decade, learn how the Briar twins' simple smuggling operation descended into a twisted web of piracy, murder and revenge. Built on the historic site of the Briar family home, walk the very caverns used by the Briars to hide their nefarious deeds. See where Alison Briar performed her dark rituals and concocted the potions that would aid her in her brother's growing criminal empire. Potions said by legend to twist a man's mind and drive the gentlest soul to murder. Follow her journey from humble beginnings to her brother's public execution in 1849, and finally, her merciless and bloody revenge on the sailors that condemned James Briar to death. Under a mile from Copperport's town centre, the Briars Rock Museum houses the UK's largest collection of Briar artefacts and memorabilia, telling a dark tale seeped in mystery, betrayal, bloodshed and loss. Suitable for all ages, telephone in advance for reserved group bookings, private functions and overnight accommodation. So you get the picture. It's basically the same as with the previous games. We've got 20 pieces of evidence that all hint at a story and give you a better picture of what's going on. I've also started experimenting a little bit with very basic mini puzzles to make you work for some of these items as well, such as we've got one where you have to find a way to listen to an answering machine message when the power's out. It's still a bit in the test phase at the moment, but we'll see how that goes. Aside from that, the first initial story scripting of our big baddie's in place, from his introduction right the way through to the mini boss fight at the end. I still need to play with his stats a bit, as I have made him particularly non-threatening at the moment, but that is intentional, because it's just a way to make my life easier while I'm building it. It's pretty tricky testing gameplay when I have to worry about a pickaxe upside the head every 5 minutes, so obviously I'll change that when the time comes. Otherwise, except for some furniture and tooltips, everything's pretty much in place now. I mean, I might add a few more inventory items here or there to flesh things out, but as it stands, the game can be played right up to its ending. So I suppose the real question is what's next for the Witching Hour? Well, first off, I need to finish the last of the evidence items and make a final decision as to where I'm going to hide them all around the building. After that, the story events could do with a tiny polish and the rest of the furniture built. But then it's just tooltips, voice acting, and the last few bits of music. So I'm hoping it'll take no more than a month, but maybe 2, because you know how these things go. We all know they have a habit of hitting us with unforeseen bugs and problems here or there, but not long now is the general takeaway there. But if you can't wait that long, of course, everything I've built so far is up on the Patreon to try out, along with a bunch of exclusive extra stuff like maps, character arts, and additional evidence items. The link's in the description, and it starts off with a £1 pledge a month. On that note, actually, a big shout out to Mark from Earth and Jamie Ennis for their continued support there. Thanks, guys. It's really helping in getting this thing finished. And for those of you that want to help Copperport grow, but don't fancy the Patreon route, you can still make a difference just by clicking that like and subscribe button on the bottom of the video. I know it sounds like a bit of a generic YouTube-y thing to say, but it really actually does make a difference into how much the videos are promoted, how many people get to see them, that sort of thing, and so on and so forth. So I guess that's it for now anyway. So a bit of a shorter one than usual because I had to keep a lot of stuff under wraps, but you get the general picture. Very nearly there. So as always, a big thank you for the support. You can check out Copperport Untold with the link in the description if you haven't yet. Don't forget to follow me on stuff, and I'll catch you next time. So until then, goodbye.